Hello. Um, we're going to talk about today the scientific method. Now, there was a link to a YouTube video. It was a clip from Monty Python's The Holy Grail. The Holy Grail is a satire movie. It's pretty funny, it's pretty out there, and they actually apply the scientific method in one instance for trying to determine whether or not a woman is a witch. And the conclusions they draw, they don't make any sense, but that's what makes it comedy. So scientific method, an easy way to think critically. Step one. Well, before we do that, every baby knows the scientific method. If you watch an infant, they crawl around on the floor. Found something. Make an observation. What is this? Form a hypothesis. I bet it tastes good. Perform an experiment. I'm going to lick it. Analyze the data. Oh, that tasted horrible. Report your findings. The baby is crying and crying. It tasted so bad. And invite others to reproduce the results. Here, try it. So that is the scientific method, according to infants. So even infants can follow it. Step one, ask a question. The scientific method starts when you ask a question about something that you observe. How, what, when, who, which, why, where. Your questions should be open-ended about a specific thing. Monty Python, the Holy Grail, their question was, how do you know she's a witch? Step two, do background research. Go to a library, do research the old-fashioned way, do some internet research, something about the question that you have. Now, in Monty Python, the research they came up with was wood floats and ducks float as well. And then after you do your research, you construct a hypothesis. Your hypothesis has to have some supporting research behind it. Okay? Be sure that you're not just coming up with a hypothesis out of thin air. There has to be some background info that supports the reason why you're making that hypothesis. Monty Python, they say, if she weighs the same as a duck, she will float. Therefore, she is a witch. And then test your hypothesis by doing an experiment. Your experiment has to be fair, okay? It has to be focused on just one factor. You're controlling one factor, so you can be sure that whatever your results tell you, they were a result of that one factor being changed. And also repeat your experiments. Make sure that whatever result you got is valid, and it's not just a spoof or an accident. You want to repeat it. You want to make sure your results are, in fact, reproducible. Step 5, analyze your data. Draw your conclusion. What do your results tell you? Did they support your hypothesis, or do they not support your hypothesis? If they do not support your hypothesis, that means we got to go back, do some more research, tweak your hypothesis, change it up, and then perform another experiment. That's what science does. It's very methodical. It's self-correcting. That's the whole point of it. That's the purpose of it. And the conclusion Monty Python came to, they weigh the same. She's a witch. They put the woman on a scale with the duck, and the scales were even, telling them that she weighs the same as a duck, therefore she must be a witch. Next up is communicate your results. Communicate your results. To complete a science fair project, you would put your results and your data and your charts and your graphs on that tri-fold board, and you would display it. Professional scientists do kind of the same thing, but instead of a tri-fold board, it's a scientific journal. And instead of displaying it at the science fair, they present their findings during scientific conferences and meetings. So the take-home message of the scientific method It's a methodical way to test a hypothesis, and it corrects itself. It enables you to learn how to think critically. Okay, there's a lot of checks in place that prevent people from jumping to a conclusion before all the facts are there. So if you truly follow the scientific method, you'll learn to think critically, and that's a very important skill to have. So my take-home message to you, my take-home question here, what other aspect of your life do you think can be improved with a little bit of critical thinking? Now, you don't have to apply the scientific method, all these 8 steps, to whatever aspect of life you're thinking about. But I do want you to see what happens if you use the skill that using the scientific method teaches you. Critical thinking. What aspect of your life can be improved by critical thinking? So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.